Hi everybody, it's Tim here. Now today in the Hubstars project what we're going to be talking about is click-through rates. Okay, now click-through rates or CTRs are major contributors to your quality score. Now if you don't know much about quality score, don't worry, I cover it in my course which I've left a link to below this video, and I take you through basically what quality score is all about, what elements of your account contribute to it, and then what you can do in order to improve everything. But don't worry about all that. What you just need to know for this video is that if you've got a good quality score, that means you're paying lower cost per clicks and you're getting more impressions. Okay, so you're getting more traffic basically for less money. So your quality score is important, and this aspect we're going to be looking at today is your click-through rates. Now, when we spoke with Andy said we've got to be looking at a click-through rate of about 4%. So far, I've been achieving a click-through rate of over 5%, and I want to be looking at trying to improve that today. And I'm going to be doing that in two ways, okay? The first way we're going to be looking at is we're going to be identifying the search terms which are actually dragging that click-through rate down, and we're going to be adding those search terms into our negative lists. The second thing we're going to be doing is identifying the search terms which are actually really working well for us and they're bolstering our click-through rates. So we're going to find those, and then we're going to start adding those search terms into our ad groups so we can then bid on them specifically as keywords. All right, that's what we're going to be doing, those two things. So let's go over to my screen and I'll show you how we do all that stuff. Okay, great. So with my account open, now we're going to go through the first of these two tasks, and that is to identify the keywords which have got a low click-through rate. So I just make sure that I've got all campaigns selected, and now we're going to come down into the keywords view. I want to see all of the keywords across my whole account. Make sure that I've got search keywords selected here, and this shows up all of the keywords that are in my account. Now I want to make sure that I've got click-through rate selected here, and if you're not sure how to add click-through rate to your columns, you just come here and do modify columns and performance and select click-through rate and then click apply. So once you've got click-through rate in your columns, sort everything by click-through rate. And the last thing on this page, just to make sure you're getting all the data, is make sure that you've got the last 14 days selected, or however long your account's been running. So for me, that's around about 8-9 days. So I've just got last 14 days. So that's all the information I need on here. Right, so I want to filter this just to show me the keywords that have got a click-through rate that's below 4%. So I'm just going to create a filter, come down to performance, select click-through rate and less than 4% and apply. So here we are. This is all of them across the whole account that's got less than 4% click-through rate, some very low ones down here. What I want you to do is just select all of those and click on the search terms here. Now what that does is we're going to see all of the search terms that have been triggering these badly performing keywords. So click on search terms. Now you can either sort these by impressions or by clicks, and it doesn't really matter which, but what we're going to do is really just go through this list of search terms that people have been typing in and see which ones are contributing to the low conversion rates. Now what usually happens is you've got search terms dragging down that click-through rate because they're just not relevant to your business, and it's important to weed those out. So a good example of that is this one, dating apps. So it's a generic term. Yes, Gamer Dating Arena is a dating site, but it's for gamers. It's a niche dating site. So we don't want anything really too generic in there. So here's one here that's got, dating apps is generating a low click-through rate. So that's just to give you an example. So I'm going to select that one, but I'm just going to go through here and identify any others which are potentially causing a low click-through rate. Okay, so I've found a couple of terms, that's okay. And I'm just going to cross-check things by now sorting by clicks and just make sure I haven't really missed anything for now. Once you've identified the search terms you don't want, now it's time to add them as a negative. So just as before, we add them as a negative. These are fairly generic terms, so I'm going to set these at campaign level and hit save. Okay, so that's it for now on these ones. So as you know, in the previous video, we've been weeding out search terms that we don't think are helping our account. This is just another way of looking at it. This is a way of bolstering your click-through rate and just ensuring you're keeping keeping an eye on your click-through rate because it's got such an important impact on your quality score. Okay, so we've added those as a negatives. Now the only other thing that I'm going to do in this video for you is I'm going to now sort of flip the table and we're going to look at the positive keywords. So the ones which have got a really high click-through rate, and we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to identify the search terms, but this time we're going to add the ones that we like into our ad groups. So again, let's go back to search keywords. And we're just going to change this filter around. So it's going to be greater than 4%. So all of these ones are keywords which have got a good click-through rate. Like I said, we're not looking at conversion rates or anything like that. We're just looking at click-through rate in this. So we want to see what search terms have been triggering these keywords. So again, select all of those and hit search terms. And now we can see what's triggering all of these. And again, it was dating apps which was triggering some of them, but that's already been excluded. That's very good. And we just go through the same process. We try and find search terms now that we want to add to our account because we think that they're going to perform well for us. Okay, when you're done, when you've gone through and you've found the keywords that you want to add, select them and select add as a keyword. Now what Google is going to do is going to try and get you to add these as broad terms, but you don't want them as broad terms because they are actually exact terms. These are exactly what people have typed in. So you want to change all of these to exact match. And to do that, you need to put brackets around each of the search terms. So I'm just going to do that now for all of these. Okay, and hit save. So that's the principle that you need to go through. I've done it in terms of the click-through rate for this, but we're also going to be doing it based on conversion rate later on, but the principle is the same. You're identifying search terms which are working well for you, they're generating a good click-through rate, and you then add them as a keyword. But the principle to remember is to add them as an exact keyword. There are times where you've got more generic terms that you can add them as a phrase match, but generally the principle would be, I would suggest, is to add them as exact terms. And then we're really starting to pull together, really starting to hone in on the search terms that are generating revenue for our business. Okay, I hope this is useful. Go through this process fairly methodically and you'll see your click-through rate start to improve and you'll see your cost per click start to go down as well as your relevance improves. Thanks very much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.